Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Total Extreme Wrestling 2020, where I book the WWF in 2001 during the Invasion era. This is the first week of Smackdown in August. So let's start the show and let's see how things go. In a pre show bout that had little heat and embarrassing wrestling, Elix Skipper defeated Johnny the Bull by pinfall with the overdrive. This got 27. Mick Foley did good work at ringside. In a pre-show bout that had little heat and embarrassing wrestling, Mark Henry defeated Nova by pinfall with the Death from Above. This got 31. So now we get to the actual show. In a bout that had a decent reaction from the crowd but subpar wrestling, Steven Richards defeated the Godfather by pinfall with the Stevie kick. This got 47. This was also a hardcore match. Chris Jericho finds Hugh Morris backstage and beats him up to get a measure of revenge from Raw. Was this got a 34. The crowd didn't find it interesting. In a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling, Chris Benoit defeated Ernest the Cat Miller by pinfall with a diving headbutt. This got a 66. Sean O'Hare and Chuck Palumbo attacked the Dudley Boys backstage, leaving them down and out. This only got a 40. In a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling, Canyon defeated Jeff Hardy and Rob Van Dam. When Canyon made Jeff Hardy submit, Canyon successfully defends the hardcore title. RVD came in during the middle of the match, and RVD was struggling to keep up with everyone's performance. This got a 51. Canyon seemed off his game, but Jeff Hardy and Lita have great chemistry. So Lillian Garcia is backstage. I booked Jericho for an interview and huh. And Lillian goes, "Please welcome my guest at this time, Chris Jericho." So Chris Jericho enters the frame. Lillian Garcia goes, "Chris, congratulations on your victory against Benoit on Raw. This means that you will face Stone Cold Steve Austin for the WWF Championship at SummerSlam. My question is, with a couple of weeks until this match, how are you feeling?" Chris Jericho goes, "I feel great, but I think the more important question is, how does Stone Cold Steve Austin feel? He can't be feeling too great after losing the main event at Noir. What Steve Austin needs to realize is this: one thing many people overlook in this business is momentum. While things can change in a couple of weeks, it doesn't look good for Stone Cold if things don't change. Steve, I know you're worried about The Rock, but the guy you should be worried about goes by the name of Y2J." And Lillian goes, "Thank you for your time, Chris. Michael Cole and Taz, back to you guys." And this got a 65. In a bout that had great heat and decent wrestling, Kane defeated Mike Awesome by pinfall with a flying clothesline. This got a 68. So Triple H and Stephanie McMahon are sitting on the couch in their office. Triple H goes, "What the hell was that all about Monday? You actually believe the shit Kurt Angle was telling you?" And Stephanie goes, "What did Kurt say that made you so upset?" And Triple H goes, "It's what you said. Of course I will be cheering on my husband. You don't have to cheer me on if you feel like I'm coercing you. I also don't trust Kurt Angle. It was just last year when he showed his true colors tried to drive a wedge between us when he hit me in the ribs with a sledgehammer." And Stephanie McMahon goes, "I remember everything that happened, but I also supported him the next month when he defeated The Rock for the WWF Championship after being in the company for 11 months. You had no problem with supporting him that time." And Triple H goes, "I always had a problem with it, and I do have a problem with it now." And Stephanie goes, "Honestly, I think you are making something out of nothing. And like it or not, I do consider Kurt Angle a friend." And Triple H goes, "Nice to know. I can't count on you, wife." Stephanie goes, "Excuse me?" And that remark, "Nice to know. I can't count on you, wife." Stephanie looks upset, storms out of the office, and visibly is upset by the time she bumps into Kurt Angle. Kurt realizing Steph is upset, goes, "Whoa, Steph, what's wrong?" Stephanie goes, "Hunter accused me of supporting him when you face off in the SummerSlam event, although I told him I was." And Kurt Angle just realizes Stephanie's getting hysterical. He goes, "I'm sorry, Steph," and then he hugs her, trying to calm her down. This got a 61. Triple H came across well. Stephanie did a masterful job improvising interactions with the crowd, and Triple H worked the crowd well, using the freedom to improvise to his advantage. In a bout that had great heat and decent wrestling, Booker T defeated Dean Malenko by pinfall with the Harlem Hangover. This got a 69. So The Undertaker is standing in a dark room backstage. He goes, "Booker T, you have been running your mouth a lot ever since you showed up here in the WWF. But you have pissed me off more than once. The first time is when you arrived here and thought you didn't have to prove yourself because of what you have done in the past. Now, you won matches against Kurt Angle and my brother Kane, and you won those matches fair and square, which I would commend you for. But even though we have never faced off, you think you are going to be in for a walk in the park when we meet on Raw? Booker T, you just let your mouth write a check your ass can't cash. You have also been carrying a little less gold since Invasion. On Raw, I am going to beat you up for disrespecting a company I helped build. Then I am going to take the one championship you have left. See you Monday, Book." And this got a 64. In a bout that had great heat and decent wrestling, The Big Show defeated Bradshaw by pinfall with the choke slam. This got a 70. So I thought this angle would do better. Self High Five plays as Diamond Dallas Page comes out to the ring. DDP goes, "How is everybody in Montana? You guys sound like you're doing awesome, and I have to admit, I am doing the same after this past Monday when myself and The Rock defeated Stone Cold and Triple H in a tag team match. However, I didn't come out here to brag about the victory on Monday night. I had something important to ask The Rock. So, Rock, would you join me in the ring so I can ask what I want to ask face to face?" So, if you smell what The Rock is cooking, plays as The Rock comes out. And The Rock says as he's walking down the ramp, "DDP, you don't need to say anymore. The Rock has an idea of what you want to ask him, but I have absolutely no interest in jumping ship to WCW, and I said us two teaming up would be a one night thing." And DDP goes, "I wasn't going to ask you either of those things." So that gets The Rock's interest as he continues walking to the ring. The Rock goes, "Then what do you want from The Rock?" DDP goes, "I want a match against you, the People's Champion, Diamond Dallas Page versus the Great One, The Rock, at SummerSlam." So The Rock joins Diamond Dallas Page in the ring, takes off his sunglasses. The Rock goes, "What did you just call yourself?" DDP goes, "The People's Champion." Rock goes, "There is only one, and The Rock means one People's Champion in professional wrestling, and that is The Rock." And DDP goes, "No, Rock. See, I was the People's Champion in WCW when the fans of this company were chanting 'Die, Rocky, die.' Nobody was chanting 'Die, Page, die.'" And The Rock goes, "Whoop-de-doo! But you should stop using information from 1997. WCW doesn't exist anymore as a separate company, and The Rock has earned the respect of these people. So you may have been the People's Champion at one point, but you have been replaced by someone who became much bigger and much more well known than you are." And DDP goes, "So you think you're the People's Champion?" The Rock goes, "The Rock is the People's Champion." DDP goes, then give the people what they want. Agree to face me at SummerSlam. We can settle who the real People's Champion is in the ring. Do you accept my challenge for a match at SummerSlam?" And The Rock goes, "I accept. See you at SummerSlam." The Rock and DDP stare at each other when the Rock theme plays, and then just The Rock and DDP staring at each other is the last thing as the screen fades to black to um, signify the end of Smackdown. Unfortunately, this only got a 68. I thought this was going to do much better. So the show got a 68, unfortunately. So, yeah, so I got to add a couple more matches to the promotion of SummerSlam. DDP versus The Rock, Chris Jericho versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then um, I guess I could promote Undertaker and Booker T on Raw. But let's see. But SmackDown did draw a lot of praise. Diamond Dallas Page goes, I like what I hear from Steven Richards. There's money in the kids' promos if given airtime. Okay. So, contract with a couple people for developmental, but there's an incident involving D'Lo Brown. He's been identified as a steroid user. Fine him. D'Lo's unhappy. Okay, so this was SmackDown for week 1 of August. I hope you enjoyed this. Give me a thumbs up if you did. The next episode of Total Extreme Wrestling will be Raw for week 2 of August in 2001. Until then, good night, everyone.